Hi everyone, and we are back with another session of Alumni of the Week. And this time we have Mansi Gupta with us. Hey Mansi, what's up?
Hello.
How are you doing?
Fine, pretty cold here at home.
All right. So again, this time we are going to hear an amazing story and her experience. So a quick introduction about Mansi. So Mansi is presently working as a product manager with Quintip Technologies, and she also started her journey. Yes, you guessed it right, being an engineer. So let's just see and hear from herself that how she went from different stages and how she transitioned into the product manager uh, profile, the whole profile itself. So over to you, Mansi. A quick intro about you. Like, how would you let our community know
Okay,
yourself?
so
Yeah.
hi everyone. I get awkward in these formal kind of introductions, so I'm not like Chandler who cracks jokes when I'm awkward, but I'll try to keep it as casual as possible. As Bhavesh rightly mentioned, like many a million years in the million people in the country, I am an engineer by education. I think something I shouldn't say it out loud in public, but yeah, something I think I didn't want to do, and I was more focused on an MBA over an engineering degree. But I did engineering and in a subject I wasn't really fond of in particular, that is computer science. But I'm an IT engineer by education. So yeah, so those children who listen to their parents and are very by the book students. I was one of those, and I did that because maybe I didn't have a direction of my own, and I was happy with the guidance I was getting. So I did that. My first company, who walked into the campus for interviews, I got hired by them, which was a surprise for me myself. And I got into it. I was pretty sure in 18 months I'll leave that place and move out for MBA, but that didn't happen. And when I got a chance to choose between MBA and on-site, I
Hmm.
picked that up. Probably because I wanted to explore more on different working in different geographies, working with different paths. So I think that worked well for me. And yes, I managed to reach different projects and different roles. And through that journey, I ended up realizing that I am more interested in working on the business and software and product side of things
Hmm.
versus working just on the tech part. And I took it like a free project to work on to understand whether I'd like to actually venture into this.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the moment I came back to India, I realized that maybe it's time to take the plunge. It took a lot of gumption to say bye to Wipro, to buy to that stable stable
Right.
incoming flow,
Hmm.
and dropped in my papers. And I got into a very early stage startup
Hmm.
where they were building everything from scratch. They were about a few months old only.
Hmm.
And I was lucky that they took me in. I was the only one working in product there. And yeah, that's how I left Wipro, said bye for good, and entered that place. That was early last year,
Hmm. Hmm.
or December 2021, Jan 2022.
Okay. Hmm.
But when I started there, I got a shock expected. I came from a very organized sector into a totally unorganized place. The part that it was unorganized was not the problem. I think more it was on the fact that um, a lot of times what you are thinking versus what people around you are thinking, that's not fitting in.
Right.
And I ended up realizing that there is a lot for me to learn.
Hmm.
I still have a lot to learn. And that's where I stumbled upon HelloPM, where I felt that they were giving a very structured layout of a course, like a proper methodical, place where I could learn chapter wise chapter. Subject is PM, multiple chapters. Every chapter has a homework. I felt I needed to go back to school.
Hmm.
And while I was doing this small product stint, I started studying with Ankit and the team. And of course, like I said, I knew nothing is what I made myself understand. And I wanted to be at probably a place that was between this startup and Wipro. So
Hmm.
somewhere where people have already been, working for 6, 7 years, the
Right.
company is established. There is a team of developers, testers, sales, marketing, a CEO, CTO functioning, maybe a product team as well.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
when you have more people, you end up realizing what wrong could you be doing. As a single person, I thought everything that I was doing was fine, and maybe there is no correction needed.
Right. Right. It happens, right?
Yeah. So yeah, a long journey spent in trying to find a job um, into a slightly more stable company than where I was, and that's how I ended up in Quintype Technologies.
I mean, I also know personally people who have transitioned from testing phase to another job profile. But while they are there in the, the whole scenario of being a tester, they go through a lot of things, and psychologically as well, as you said, while you were switching, that emotion was there, leaving out the stable job. You were there, you reached up to some certain level, you achieved certain things, and you are at stable space, you are going offshore, onshore, ये सब चल
Right.
रहा है. So
Right.
yeah, there is a lot of things that are going around in your head while you are switching. But yeah, I
Right.
mean, kudos to you. You did a phenomenal job. I mean, many people look up towards it. Like, I'll be doing something, but there are very few who, have that thing to get out of it. But mostly people are on that stage. They are noticing the problem, they're talking about the problem, but action is not there. And I guess mostly product management is all about taking execution and then action. After you have all the insights, right? You
Hmm.
have all the insights. Now, how you can execute those insights to your knowledge. Mm-hmm.
I was sharing the flat with a couple, and
Mm-hmm.
the girl was actually a product manager.
Oh,
And that was probably the second time I heard product management. That was somewhere in 2018. Reason because I had never heard of that field also before, and everybody knows that how product management and product manager as a role has suddenly come up in the last few years. Okay, and
yeah.
it's been very catchy and eye candy and everything. My
Oh,
initial thought was that I want to be a brand manager. I'm very fond of handbags. It started off with brand and it reached a product because I ended up realizing that a product manager will always probably fit in somewhere or the other. So a product manager can always be a brand manager, but a brand manager will never be able to become a product manager
correct.
that effectively. Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I was about to go with the next question, and apparently this was my next question. So, I mean, the question that I was about to ask was how you came to know about product management. Yeah, you answered it before.
There you go. Yeah.
See, good product managers know it before. I mean, then they just know it, man. They just know it. Okay, this is what is going to be now. So,
And funnily, a couple of friends who I spoke to, and when they said that, Mansi, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. I know I don't want to do testing or I don't want this track anymore.
and then moving ahead from there. So, like while you were after you came to know, okay, there is this something that exists.
Yes.
Now, what was your journey, as in how you navigated through the
Yes.
process of researching about
Yes.
what it is, how it's
Yes.
done, and
Yes.
then how you came across Hello PM as a community? Like, yeah. So, what was your take on it? Yeah.
As I told you that, okay, right, because I had a roommate and that was an
Yeah.
advantage. So I understood from her what it is. She gave me a couple of books. I would skim through when I had the time. And
Mm-hmm.
then around 2019 is when I told you about a pro bono
Yeah.
project, right? And that's when so
Mm-hmm.
within the organization, I myself was anyway trying to work more on the product part and not just as a QA delivery manager because I was a delivery project delivery manager there.
Right.
But I was more interested in what's happening on the other part of the software and the products that we were working on. So while that was already ongoing, I got a chance to work here. So this was sort of my research. You can say that this was the way for me to know whether I really want to do this or not, or basically take the plunge. And once a week, so weekends primarily, so once a week there would be this connect, this understanding, product thinking, listening. And at that point also I was not reading these big articles or going through these big terms and terminologies that are currently used, this first principle thinking and these kind of things,
Right.
that these fundas and jargons that have actually come in. You end up realizing that you've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
just don't know what to call it. We've been
Yeah.
doing it. We just don't know what to call it. We've been
What to call
applying common sense
it?
wherever necessary. We just
Necessary.
haven't given it a term yet. And for
Okay.
HelloPM also, I did a bit of research. I went on LinkedIn. I wrote to random people who had put HelloPM tag in their profiles. I
Mm-hmm.
wrote, I asked them about the other programs they've been in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever feedback I got a feedback. But see, no course is great, or no course is less great or more great. It's the same thing with colleges, right? So anybody who's been to IIT, if they've not done their part well at IIT, they've also not risen, right? And there
Mm-hmm.
are so many people from tier 3 to 4 colleges you've not even heard of, and they're probably CEOs of companies today. So that perspective was there in my head that I'd like to go here because I like the course structure. Being very clear about it, I loved the course structure. I loved how methodical it was, and it was touching upon every single concept in the PM book that I was aware of. or not aware of. And that's it. I started my journey with Ankit and the team.
Okay, all right. Awesome. So let's just push it into a box and just let's just realize. Okay, so as in the whole journey, if you summarize, how was it in 3 words? I mean, your journey. Like, what would you say?
So I think I would define this journey as lengthy,
Hmm.
painstaking,
Hmm.
lot of research, and gumption.
Okay, nicely articulated into 4 words. Okay, going ahead. A quick question, and how would you summarize this question in a manner so that each and every person who is listening to it gets it? So the question is, I mean, uh, can anyone from any background, like from sales or commerce, you have been there, like yourself are coming from a testing background, so not from a developer's end, but a testing end is totally different, right? So
Yes.
people who are coming from different verticals or different backgrounds,
Yes.
is it really that feasible for anyone to get into PM? If yes, then what are certain things that will help them to navigate easily through the process?
Yeah. So when I also was trying to transition into PM, I was made to realize by some learned people around me that anybody can be a part of product management. I may be from a technical background because I'm from Wipro and the IT part is there. But
Mm,
personally, I'm not very fond of tech side of the world.
mhm,
All right. Even as a QA, I was more thinking more like a business and less and more like a customer and less like a techie.
mm,
But having gone through that phase and understanding that a PM is supposed to touch upon every facet of the company,
mm,
I feel that yes, to a greater extent, anybody can become a product manager as long as I think we've got that understanding of what the product is, what the problem is, more than solutioning, what
mm,
the problem is, what
mm,
the root cause is, how can we go about solving it, right? Um, it's uh, it's funny, but it is true when they say that common sense helps, but it's
mm,
true. There are many small things in our life that we are doing, not realizing that that's actually common sense and that's actually product thinking. All right. I get this question asked, in fact, by a lot of QAs in my new company that Mansi, you mentioned you're a QA, and they get zapped that, okay, you are a QA or you were a QA. How many years were you a QA and how did you move here?
mm,
Honestly, had somebody told me that become a business analyst and it'll be the easiest part to enter product management, I would have probably done that when I had been offered a role that, okay, become a BA. And I
mm,
quietly rejected, "Arey, who does BA? No, no,
mm,
no, I want to do business analysis. I have no idea what it is."
mm.
So, and I know of cases where there are people who were customer success managers, who were account managers, in
Right,
B2B companies or B2C companies, and they have become product managers.
right, right.
Not because they knew IT, it's because they understood customer, they understood business, they understood product and problems. And the moment they understood these four parts, I
Right.
think it was pretty easy for them to sell themselves as product managers or at least step into that phase.
Totally. So it's more of your thought process, the way you thought. Yeah, right. What you should say, because as you suggested, like if you're from any of the backgrounds, like if you're from customer success profile or maybe marketing or maybe sales or design, some or the
Right.
other way, you are holding on to one vertical of being a product manager, like
Correct.
remotely connected towards the.
Correct. I mean, again, all of these people, I mean, all of these divisions in the organization, right? They deal with the customer, they deal
Mm,
with the business,
mm.
may or may not deal with the tech. It
Right.
depends. Right? But they do speak to tech. When we say tech, they speak to product managers to understand what features are you bringing or what's new that you're launching. How do we want to go and sell it in the market?
Yeah.
Apparently, product managers are supposed to influence that decision also. That how do we want to market it? How do we want to place it, position it? So it could be the range of I mean the difficulty rate could be high or low because
Right.
somebody from a totally non-tech background might get those inhibitions and those scares that, yeah, I have no idea how even technology functions, or what's a software testing life cycle,
Right.
or a software development life cycle, and how am I supposed to work towards product management. But I don't see it as a problem for anybody
Mm-hmm.
wanting to transition into this role.
Mm-hmm.
But the struggle is there, no doubt. The
Mm-hmm.
hard work has to be put in, the research has to be done, the study has to be done. And again, I felt that finding something within the organization is the first easier step to do than canceling everything out and trying to enter into an organization saying that I want to be a product manager without having to show what we have on the resume. Reason because everybody goes on perceived value.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, a 32-year-old intern, sounds bizarre. I don't know why I keep quoting age, but it is bizarre. And then you see the movie Intern, where Robert De Niro was a 70-year-old intern, and you find, okay, everything is fine in life. It's
Mm-hmm.
fine. It really doesn't matter. I'm more interested in venturing into this.
Mm-hmm.
So, small projects within the organization, trying to apply as an intern outside, trying to do these pro bono cases where you probably have to invest time on the weekends to work for companies free of cost, right? I think are some of the ways where
Mm-hmm.
one can try to venture out to get that experience onto paper.
Okay. Cool, cool. So, going ahead, this was all from while you were navigating through the part where you were learning about, you were exploring, and then how you transition. So, now I'll be shifting towards when you got into HelloPM, when you started the journey with HelloPM. So, what were the things that worked for you from HelloPM side? Like, what were the things that helped you out specifically? Maybe it could be live classes, or maybe one-on-one calls, or capstone. So, what were the things?
Right. So Hello PM, I think first and foremost, understanding all the concepts and basics of product management, from jargons, from their meaning, from where they're rooted, why do we have what we have, why do we have a prioritization matrix in the first place? That's helping, to be very honest. But so the basics for sure. I thoroughly enjoyed doing the assignments, the
Mm-hmm.
PPT part, and I think my most favorite was the product sense activity, where we had to break down and answer those product thinking and design questions. And I actually was the guinea pig of my batch to go through the interview as well. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So I would definitely say the assignments,
Hmm.
because that demanded extra hours to be put in to do some research to understand what's out there. Then you go and notice that there's so many people doing this on a daily basis. Even if they are PMs and SPMs in their company, they're actually doing these assignments daily. I think having people working in product companies talking to you and telling you the problems they face
Hmm.
real life, I think that was very insightful.
Okay. Okay.
We know that in MBA we are taught projects, there are capstones, there are professors who come from across the world, there are big leaders who come and talk to you. But I think this was as good as that.
Mm-hmm.
Reason one, because you end up realizing that what you study is, you have to find a way to implement it at workplace. So these were the people who actually brought that out, saying that yes, they have tried implementing concepts wherever possible, because it's not always, I think, it's not as easy as, okay, you have this uh, matrix, so you can put it here. No, that doesn't work every time. But yeah, I think these people who are working as SPMs and PMs, seasoned PMs, coming and sharing how they work, how they function, I think that was very interesting.
Okay. So, while you were suggesting, you initially mentioned there were other couple of communities and so many courses also are there. So, again, I'm asking from a perspective of people who are listening it. So, how
Right.
did you filtered out? Okay, this course would be better, or gathering around. Okay, finally, these 2 to 3 are the courses that I'll look later on.
Right.
But out of these 10, I need to filter these. So, how did you? Uh,
So one, I said, and I connected with people online to get a feedback,
yeah.
and I got a mixed review. Some said great, some said yeah, slightly slow, slightly methodical, too detailed, not needed for them. For me, it was, I had to behave like a fresher who had
Mm,
no idea what it is. For me, some of the other courses, I felt I would have been able to grasp the content if I were already a functioning PM for about 2, 3 years, where I would
oh.
have understood how the PM role functions, how a PM functions, how a company functions.
Mm.
All those things were missing for me because I was in a very big organization.
Right, right,
I started my PM journey. There you understand how a project functions, how a company runs is seen from a very small view. You don't see it very closely, right?
right.
That is sort of possible when you work probably more in a smaller organization. You want to call it a startup, you can call it a startup, but somewhere where everybody is in your connect. I used to work in a team of 100 people. Here, the company size itself would be 50 to 100. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that is what was missing for me. I had no idea about
Mm-hmm.
multiple sectors. I mean, that closeness, that proximity of work was very low. Yeah. So for me, Hello PM, again, like I said, structured, methodical for a fresher. All right.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody who's new, who wants to understand from basic level. And that's fine for me. I didn't
Oh,
find it boring. I didn't find it, oh, I already know this. So what if you know this? Learn it. Do it
right.
again. Doesn't matter.
Cool, cool. So, going ahead, so lastly, just to summarize all these points, what is that one thing that stood out for you from Hello PM?
I felt Hello PM kept it simple.
Kept it simple. So,
Yeah, I think Hello PM, everybody kept it simple here.
mm,
I didn't find anything over the top complex. Um, and simplicity in everything, whether it's the class, whether it's the ease of talking to the instructors, whether
mm,
it's the approachability.
right.
Um, I would just say that Hello PM just keeps it simple.
Simple. All right. So, moving towards the one of the last question, as in the last a longer question, I would say. Okay, is finally a word of advice or like couple of things that you want to suggest people who are transitioning, or you can say these are aspiring product managers,
Yeah,
people who look forward to be a product manager in next 1 to 2 year, or maybe this year in 2023,
right.
how they should map out their navigation points, or how should they map out like maybe hurdles you want to pinpoint, or
Yeah,
the struggling phases you want to pinpoint, things that you can pinpoint that they need to look upon, definitely they need to work harder on. So yeah.
right. So first thing I would say is let's be very sure of what you want to do. If not very sure, but at least remotely sure that yes, you want to enter product management, be able to answer that why. As product managers, we're supposed to ask the whys. Let's first answer our why. Why do I want to enter this
Hmm.
division of work? Why
Hmm.
do I want to venture into this part of career life? That's definitely the first question I would want everybody. I mean, at least I did.
Hmm.
The second being, when you're sure that yes, this is something I would like to venture into, please do that understanding of what your career has been so far, how you can use it to your advantage into this field. If not, what are we supposed to be doing to enter this field? Everything is available on the internet, right? But the things that I realized that I had to do was definitely work on my resume. All right. I had to go back 11 years of my career to understand that every project that I did, probably I did do product management somewhere or the other. So
Hmm.
I ended up portraying information in that manner. So definitely building on the resume and articulating experience in a manner that would attract or at least grasp somebody's attention, where they would see the first few lines or the summary to probably want to talk to you.
Hmm. Okay.
If you can find a way to transition in your current organization into the role in whatever form, be it even entering the track of business analyst, please go for it. I wish I had done that.
Hmm.
The journey of finding Quinn type technologies would have been a lot easier than it was.
Okay.
So definitely, every company has this business analyst track, and if you can find a way to enter it, nothing like it.
Hmm.
Okay, and yeah,
Patience.
a lot of patience and perseverance. I had no idea how to apply for a job in LinkedIn or
Hmm.
apply for a job for that matter. When you're in
Hmm.
one organization, you generally, and you've not ventured out a
Yeah.
lot, you generally have no idea how to do this. I
Hmm.
spoke to people, and of course, I got a lot of guidance from
Hmm.
the instructors at Hello PM, where everybody said that they've all gone through that journey where they have written directly to people on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's the first assignment. Anybody watching this, that's the first assignment that Ankit makes you do. First week assignment is to randomly write to 5 people who are product managers and ask them what they do and why they do. That's it.
Yeah.
The reason is for you to get out of that comfort zone of directly talking to strangers on
Mm.
LinkedIn.
Right, right.
When we say the world today is heading towards community, it is true. It is heading towards a network, it is true,
Hmm.
right? Because it connects. Even in the earlier years, it were connects that people would use to change one job and move into the other. When you say your friend is like, "Arey, yaar, refer me there, refer me there." This is what is happening even today, except on a broader scale because you've got these networks built online. Initially, they
Yeah,
weren't. So, a lot of patience in the fact that you will write to, let's say, 100 people, you will get cold responses or no responses,
yeah. Hmm.
and you will have to probably write to another 50 people for
Yeah.
somebody to probably read and say that, yeah, they'd like to talk to you. I've had experiences where there were people who read my resume and gave me a feedback that, Mansi, we feel that your resume could do better here. Please add this. They
Hmm.
didn't have a job to give me or a moment of their time to take an interview, but they at least gave a feedback on the resume. No
Right.
problem. I think that also worked because you end up realizing that, "Achha, okay, let me just change that. No problem." So we sort of need to leave your ego aside, forget everything, be very shameless,
Hmm.
and lot of patience and persistence and hope. So I wrote to Quintype again that, "Hi, any news, anything, wanted to understand from you." And the HR replied, "Oh, yes, yes, sorry, I was on leave. Let's get your process started."
Okay.
That's it. I don't know, had I not written back to her, she would have probably forgotten about me because she's getting so many resumes every day anyway.
It happens.
And
It
it
happens.
started from there. It just started from there.
Yeah.
So that made me realize the importance of writing or following up with everybody who you've written to.
Yeah.
Follow up with everyone. Every interview round only helped me become more confident for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So go with the least amount of expectations because you have nothing to lose.
All right. So moving ahead, let's go to a quick rapid fire round. Okay. So Mansi, what's the one app that's always on your fingertips? Like the
Mintra.
very mean so I'm guessing you're using it for shopping, right? Mostly. Okay.
Window shopping primarily.
Okay. So as a comparing a product, so Flipkart or Mintra,
Mintra. Sorry, one more app on my fingertips. Zomato.
Zomato. Okay. Again, I was about to come to that question. Okay. So Amazon or Mintra?
Mintra for fashion, Amazon for everything else.
Everything else. Okay. Swiggy and Zomato. I mean, definitely.
Zomato, the only reason because I can see reviews. Very differentiating product difference in the two. I can read reviews in Zomato and
Okay.
see more photos. Yeah.
Good. Out of all the products from Google Suite, which of the one is like your favorite one?
Uh, in the Google world, I think Google search is my favorite.
Google search.
Just the search. I think
Okay.
you can find anything with search. Yeah.
Okay. Then moving ahead, Go Ibibo or Make My Trip.
Make my trip.
Okay. Then I guess mostly we covered all the products. And mostly what do you prefer for chatting? Like Slack or WhatsApp?
Office Slack, everything else WhatsApp.
Everything else WhatsApp.
I don't like the concept of using WhatsApp for office work. Still
Uh,
trying to get
not fine.
used to it, but don't like it at all.
Okay, okay. So how often do you use Gmail now?
Every day?
Okay. So you're coming from Outlook background.
Correct, correct. I'm coming from Outlook background where
Uh,
everything was so structured. And then
yeah,
I had to start learning how to use Gmail's functions of automatic replies and everything. So yeah,
right.
I think for the last 2 to 3 years, I've been using Gmail,
Okay. Your most used social media,
Instagram.
Instagram. How often do you open LinkedIn?
For the last 1 year, every day.
Every day. All right. I mean, that was all for the day and all for all about the session. So awesome, awesome journey, and we are glad to have you here on the platform. I'm really thank you so much for sharing so much insight around how you transition, how your insights can help others. to get something value out of it. And yeah, we really thank you for coming on the stage and sharing your experience. So
Thank you, Bhavishya, for having me. And I hope all I said was not all gibberish and something useful that guys can take away from this and not get bored and say, "Achha, this is good for nothing." But I hope it was, if not informative, at least entertaining.
definitely, definitely. So thank you so much, and people who are watching, thank you for being here and watching this video till the end. So subscribe us and also keep breaking down the products. This is Bhavish signing off. See you on the next episode.